Hello, everybody. I thought we needed the ocean waves today to have some, uh, just to see some nature. I wish I was at the ocean today. So I just wanted to pop on and talk to you guys, and I just want to say a few things, and then about everything that's happened, and then I want to see what you guys have to say about everything. So first of all, I'm going to say this once. I'm not going to say it again because I don't want to get into conspiracy theories or reading about this or anything like this. Something happened, and I think at some point we'll know. Maybe, maybe we will. But I felt it, and I wanted to share this with you. I got this, I time-stamped it. I always time-stamp stuff now if I get it when I'm not like in front of you guys. And I'll show it to you. It's on my thing, but it was at November 5th at 4:15 in the morning. I got fire, ballots, polling places, and burning. And I did wonder if there may be stories or something coming out about burning ballots or getting rid of ballots or something like that. So that happened, but I just felt like, and the whole day I felt kind of melancholy, even though, and I thought maybe I'm just exhausted. And I did have allergies all yesterday. I've been really dealing with a lot of allergies. So I was kind of up and down in bed. So I just thought, oh, it's probably just, taking Benadryl and stuff. But I really did have a kind of a melancholy about yesterday. And I didn't know why, but I just thought, oh, it's just me. But something happened, and like I said, it's their job to look into it and figure it out. I'll speak for myself. You guys can speak for yourself, but I have no control over that. I can't do anything, I can't make them look into it. I don't even have information. I can't tell anybody anything. I just know something happened. But what I want to tell you is that it made me realize a few things. One is that in all of this, and from the beginning, in all of this and all the political stuff, we do have so little control, right? We can only do what we can do. For this, I did what I could do. And that's what I did. And if there's more I could do, I would do that too. But you can only do what you can do, And so that's one thing that I wanted to tell you. The other thing was I realized that since 2016, how much spiritual growth that I can see in myself. I didn't have the same reaction I did in 2016. And in fact, a lot of people didn't. I think a lot of people are in shock today. And I think a lot of people are in mourning today. So it may change into anger at some point. But I remember being furious, in 2016. And just the way I thought was just very different. And I'm like, that is my spirituality. That's working on this stuff day in and day out every day. And I've been thinking for a few years now, 2 or 3 years, of not doing political stuff anymore. And there are a couple of reasons why. One is that, well, there's a few, but one is that I don't know what it does to know stuff. Sometimes I don't know that it helps. I don't know that it's helpful. I don't know that it's good for me to be dipping into energies like Trump's. I have felt the types of messages I get and my role kind of shift through all of this, that into more of a kind of almost like a higher perspective kind of thing, and also how to deal with stuff and how to do stuff and how to, you know, how to connect people to their own spirituality in a more profound way, or to help. The messages have just changed in their nature. And I think that this is a good opportunity to do that, because I think we're going to need that. I also wanted to say that I want this to be a Trump-free zone, and I'll tell you why. Well, first of all, I would like this community to be our sanctuary. We built this, right? So we can make it what we want. I would like it to be our sanctuary. I would like us to be able to come here and be able to feel free to speak and lay it on the table, and also talk to my guides to get perspective and understand things and move us forward spiritually. I think that's really important right now. I think our connection is very important. I think we're all going to need that, just to different degrees. There are people that are in this community that live alone, that are disabled, that have health problems, that are in flux. Maybe they've moved and they don't have any friends in the new place they are, whatever. We're all in different situations, but I think that this community is so helpful for just the connectedness that it has, and just the we're not alone kind of thing going on. But I also think that, the thing we have the most power and control over is our own connection to spirit. That's our biggest, and that's where we are at our most powerful, is when we're aligned with that. When our physical self is aligned with our spirit, we are really powerful. And I think that that's where my attention should be right now. I also think that it's very, very hard. I think it's always been hard, actually, in this atmosphere to do political predictions. But I feel like, because literally every day, even every hour is changing, it's really, really hard to get a read. Like I said, this, I think, was, there was something else involved here, but as a whole, I found it more and more difficult, because things change so quickly. And there's so many people involved. When it's a country, there's so many people, and there's so many decisions to be made by different people, and their own free will is involved. So that's also another observation that I've made over time. And like I said, I don't know how helpful it is. I don't know that it helps to know something a day in advance or an hour in advance. I mean, I don't know. And I think part of the process and part of the growth here is not having the answers to the test, right? Being able to grapple with and handle things as they come. But I always think that our guides and loved ones want us to, I always say this, go the easier, more joyful route. And so they're always trying to help us do that. They tried to help us in this situation to go the happier, more joyful route, right? You could feel it. And didn't it feel good for a few months just to have a different energy out there? And maybe that's what it was a glimpse of a different energy that's still there, that we need to cling on to. I don't know. We'll be looking at this for a long time to come. But Trump, just so you know, this is, like I said, I'm going to say my piece, and then you guys can tell me what you think. Trump's not going to exist in my world anymore. I'm just telling you that straight up. I remember in about 2021, we were still reading on Trump and stuff, and I really thought I was going to hang it up with, with all this stuff, with Trump and everything at 2020. And it just kept going, and it just kept going, and Stop the Steal and all this garbage. And at that point, I kept getting the message, and those of you who watched then probably remember me getting the message, don't give Trump a second thought. And my guides told me that, I can't tell you how many times. And I knew that they were trying to tell me, don't think about him. Don't give him oxygen. Don't give him oxygen in your world, in your brain, with what you're doing. Please don't give them oxygen there, but we do what we do, right? At that point, I probably was scared of changing the channel, scared I would lose subscribers. I'm not scared of that anymore. I love you guys, and I love everybody here, and I'm grateful for every single subscriber that subscribed, but I've got to evolve too. Everybody has to evolve in their own way. And I feel like I don't know if it's the best thing for me personally to be dipping into these kinds of energies all the time. And the way they flex and change, I don't know if I'm doing anybody any good, really. But I love getting messages from my guides, and I love sharing them. And for me, the spirituality train has left, right? I can't deny, because I've had so many experiences at this point. It's like there's no turning back for me. So I'm here regardless, whether I'm with 5 people or 500 people or 5,000 people. It doesn't, that's I'm here. Because that train has left the building for me. I know what I know, and I can't unknow it, right? I've literally walked on the other side, so I know that it's there. And I know that they're pulling for us. And I know that this is an experience. It's just an experience. It is a highly dramatic and a highly a very intense experience, but it's an experience to grow us. And I want to show my growth, so this channel is going to change. And I just want you guys to know, and I'd love for you to stick with me and hang out with me. But if you don't, that's okay. If you're like, nope, I want to know what's going on with Trump, what's happening with him today. And I get that. It is almost like it's like a rabid dog inside your house. You just feel like you have to know where it is every second. But it's, for me, I feel myself moving further and further away from that type of energy. And I want to, so that's how I'm feeling about it. And like I said, it's a change I wanted to make for a long time, but I held on because I don't want to leave people in the lurch. And I knew that I picked a lane when I started this channel. So like I said, I think there was some fear there of disappointing people or not. But at this time, I don't have, like I said, I love you guys and I want you to stick around. But at this point, I'm not attached to an outcome, right? I love this channel, but if it closed down tomorrow, I'm not attached to it that my ego depends on it and I've got to be out there every day saying what I think. It's not like that for me. I'm very much I'm not attached in that way. I'm not attached to an outcome here, but I know what I feel and I felt it for a long time. And I just feel like this is the opportunity. I'm going to take this as an opportunity and make a change that I think is a good change. And we'll continue with Sundays, and I'm going to think of some other cool things that we can do together to grow all of us spiritually and to keep us all kind of safe and to create and to build a community that is a safe harbor. I think that's really, really important. I want to end what I'm going to say with the card that I drew, because I just said what I used my cards because I thought, what does Spirit want us to know right now? What is to know? And here's my Charles Nelson Riley glasses. And I pulled the Faith card. So I just wanted you to see that. Looks like that. Pretty. And it says, today, my prayer of intention is faith. May I remember to have faith in myself, my guides, and in a higher power that helps support and guide me through the success and challenges of life. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I want to see what you guys have to say about this and that. And yeah, I love you guys. I feel very clingy today. So, and so do my dog. So does my dog and cat for some reason. Oh, the FBI will be making an announcement. Yeah. It's weird how that, like I said, that message was timestamped. I'll show it to you again right there. Fire ballots, polling places burning. And it was made at November 5th, so election day, but at 4:15 in the morning. Like I said, I felt off all day. And that doesn't, I mean, like I said, how does that help you guys? It doesn't help you. I already said for months that, she's going to win. So, but something happened. Something happened. And like I said, either we will figure it out or we will not. But, and I know that sometimes, because politics is part of our world, so I'm sure that it will make it into readings at times, but I'm not going to force it. And I don't want to spend, especially now, I was spending a lot of time in those energies, but I know that because it's part of our world, that it will weave in and out when we need it. And I'm going to trust my guides to know when that is, rather than forcing it. Right. So let me get some little comments here and see where you guys are at. Yeah. So, and I'm, like I said, I'm here to hear you guys out. And I'm also making sure you guys are okay. I think a lot of this for the next little while is going to be about perspective. So, create your own perfect world, turn off the news, or watch it, once and then put it away, or watch local news and put it away. Do things you love, do things you enjoy, look for places in new countries you might want to visit or live. But I mean, just be very kind and gentle with yourself right now, and don't feel like you have to do something or make any big gestures right away or anything like that. Create your safe space and be there and make it the way you want it, and have your own perspective. That's most important. Like I said, staying conscious yourself is most important right now, right? We're spirits having a human experience. That's what's happening right now. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, anyway. Yeah. Someone said, I hear that about politics. I've been seeing that from you for a while now. Yeah. I've been talking about it for years. Like I said, I think I was afraid. I'm not afraid now. I know where my heart is, and I know what I feel about this community. So that's, I need to let you guys make your decisions as well. And that's okay. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of, I hear you, JC. There's going to be a lot of analysis. Right now, they're all about tearing down the Democrats. I don't know why they're doing that, but it's like, okay, I don't know what else we could have done. She could have, I guess, put on Christmas lights on her head and danced around. But other than that, I don't know what else she could have done. I thought she was a fantastic candidate. Brilliant. The only thing I wish that Biden would do is just put her in as president and be like, she's 47th anyway, you big jerks. That's what I wish. A last parting little needle there, but I think that would be fantastic. Oh, Lynn, Kim, you've been spot on about the political scene. Brilliant on it. One of the best. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I really appreciate that, Lynn. And I've known from the beginning that I'm not perfect, and I know that free will always trumps, whatever, no pun intended or pun intended, what we may see at a certain period of time, and also our own mindset. If we're super positive, maybe we tend to follow the more positive possibilities. I mean, I don't know if the higher your vibration is, or the higher you try to have a high vibration, maybe you're at a disadvantage in reading these really kind of lower icky geeky vibrations. Yes. In collective grief, we'll have opportunities to raise vibrations, embrace, and support. I absolutely agree. Look for the helpers, right? That what Mr. Rogers said after 9/11, right? Look for the helpers. Absolutely. There's more to come out. I did think about how MAGA will react to have social media security taken away, groceries going up. Seeing that he is not what he says, not doing what he promised would be huge. Yeah, I mean, this is the other thing, right? They have no one to blame yet. You know, they can't be the peanut gallery anymore, just throwing little, throwing popcorn everywhere. They've really got to man up, and they're going to have to face whatever they bring down the pike. And, yeah. Energy matters. Learning how to be the log in the rapid river and chaos matters. Great for learning these changes. I agree. And I think that's how, when we reach the other side and when we're going through our life, I think we feel that way about everything, Joan G. I had a dream like that one time, and I was like I said, it was a dream where I was dying the next day, and I just had this love of everything, every enemy, every bad thing, every good thing. I just had like a tremendous love for all of it, and I understood that it all had its perfect place in what was happening. It was just a weird perspective that I think it's a spiritual perspective, right? Don't blame the people. It was the mechanical muskrat, pukin, and moron. Moron a loco. Systems hacked. Fake grassroots campaigners were hacked for sure. Oh, interesting. Yeah, like I said, I'll leave it to them. If they want to figure it out, they can. I'm sure there's ways to do it, and maybe they're already on it. I kind of feel like if I'm already on it, they should probably be already on it. Oh, yeah. And that she knew this could happen. Her team were smart. There'll be stuff coming out. Keep the faith. Keep calm. Yeah. We'll be okay. I ultimately believe that. I really do. And if anything, in the overall, picture, we'll definitely all be okay because we're all eternal beings. We're just here having this really weird experience together. We're all wishing we hadn't bought a ticket. We went on the roller coaster that's like, this is too crazy. I just want to get off. Oh, Sherry. Oh, we're hugging you. I'm so sad. I've been crying all day. Trump being in charge is horrible for us. Yes, Sherry, we're hugging you. We're hugging you. That's why we're doing this, because we're all here for each other. So feel that instead of the fear, okay? Feel that there's people here that are thinking about Sherry H and and hugging you and feeling exactly what you're feeling, right? We can commiserate because we're all kind of feeling a lot of the same feelings. Don't move into fear. We really don't, because stay, like I said, keep in your own perspective right now. Look around your room, look around your own life, look at the good stuff. If you have pets, hug them, water your plants, step outside, take some deep breaths, watch a funny movie. Don't let it permeate all areas of everything. Let it be where it is. Let this horrible, icky stuff, leave it with the horrible ickies. Leave it with them. Don't bring it into your life. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing, right, Ness, is that there'll be the trolls, there'll be the whatever, and it's like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see where you guys are in a year or two. We'll see where everybody is, because clearly we've talked about this too, that clearly there is something about this it's not our lesson to learn, right? We've learned it. We know what's going on. We can see clearly. We get it. But there's a whole section of our country that doesn't, and that keeps trying to replay this record. So it's like, fine, put on the record. It's got scratches all over it. It's bumpy. It's stupid. It's not going to play very long. but it's like, it's clearly not our lesson to learn, right? How many chances have the Republicans had to get rid of this guy? And they just refuse to do it. And so it's clearly not us who has to get rid of him. And it's clearly not our lesson to learn. We're just along for the ride because we're all connected. We are all connected, and that's why I'm saying, the things you do have control over yourself is your own state of mind. So don't let it permeate that. Your own surroundings, don't let it permeate that. And your spirituality, your connection to spirit, that cannot be taken away from you. And those are your things. So manage those things. And keep in that. Yeah. Keep the faith, Joe says. Tara's like, I think you should take a step back before making decisions like this. You're not wrong. Things are not as they seem. And it's really not about that, Tara. It really isn't. Because it's like I said, I know I can be wrong, and I know things can change, and I know things can be insane. I know that. And so, but we all have to play a part in this scenario. We all have to play a part in this. And I feel like I know what the part I want to play is. And so, like I said, there may be times I'll get a message and I'll feel like I need to share it. There may be times so I'm not saying no politics there anywhere. I just feel like dipping into these energies all the time is probably not the best thing for me in the direction I want to move for my own spiritual growth. It's just my own, and like I said, I want to hear you guys out, and I want to, we'll figure out a happy medium. I'm not gonna just leave you guys in the lurch. That's why I want to hear what you have to say, and I also want to see where you are. Oh, good. Yeah, Mary D. And even if it's just me and Mary D doing a spiritual show together, that's perfect. Yeah, and some people are saying like, yeah, Trump-free sanctuary sounds perfect. Yes, exactly. I mean, we're talking about it today because we kind of, it's kind of the literally the elephant in the room, and we need to talk about it. But yeah, we need a safe space. We need a safe space, and we need a space that's not touched by that. That's kind of not only a safe space, but a clean space, right? A pure space. And Paulette says we need your perspective on it. And like I said, I'm sure there will be points and it's going to play into the overall picture because I live in the United States, right? So things are going to pop up, things are going to come up. And Karen wants us to turn it over to God and the angels. I had that moment, Karen, that you say that where I was finally going to bed last night and I said, most benevolent outcome. That's it. Most benevolent outcome. I'm here, I'm on board this train, so I will take the ride, but most benevolent outcome. And I'm not going to pray in fear and stuff. I'm just going to say I've got faith. I've got faith in my guides and in a higher purpose. I know Spirit is excellent at using everything for a higher purpose. So I know that it will be whatever this is, or whatever it turns out to be, it will be used for a higher purpose. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't feel powerless. And like I said, that's why I'm saying to find the power where you do have it and move into that. Yeah, feel that, recognize where you do have power and then yeah, take control of that. That's yours. Yeah, I know. Emmy, I know. And again, a reason I'm thinking that we're gonna need advice as to how to navigate this. And I feel like that may be more what we're actually wanting without without knowing that's what we need. But I think that there's gonna be a lot of help through spirit as how to navigate each step of this, because I think that there are going to be people that are just inconsolable and just fearful. And I get it. I mean, if you're older, if you're on Social Security, if you depend on certain programs, but that's part of the personal decisions that we can make too, is not allowing people to flounder, not taking care of one another, regardless of what other dumb things are happening, linking arms, standing up for one another. That was the other question I wanted to pose to you guys, because I think that this is a question that needs to be asked. And don't worry, I'm not going to start a death cult or anything like that. But I think the question that I asked myself this morning, and I think that you should ask yourself in a very real way, is, are you afraid of death? Because I feel like there's something about the work I've done with orbs. When I was on Jeff Mara's podcast, I talked about the fact that I think one of the purposes of it is to help people to see with their own eyes there's something else. We don't end here. This is just a place that we learn that our loved ones are okay. They're right across the veil. They're right in a different frequency that we can't perceive while we're locked into the physical body. And the reason that we have access to orbs in the way that we do, and science has kind of met spirituality this way, and probably in a lot of other ways to come. I know they have spirit boxes and all kinds of stuff that's coming down the pike. But I think one of the reasons is because our fear of death on this planet is at this point kind of holding us back in our spiritual evolution, in our human evolution, even as spirits on this planet. And so I feel like that's why we're seeing all the NDEs, why it's so pervasive, right? There's just thousands of them all of a sudden, and they're all online. You could sit and watch them for weeks if you wanted to. These firsthand accounts. And I felt like the reason all this is happening and all culminating around the same time is not only because our consciousness is raising, but also because we need to get over our fear of death. If you don't have a fear of death, you can live a pretty fearless life. You really can. And so face that. Do the die before you die meditation. You can look it up. It's a Eckhart Tolle meditation. Stripping away all the layers of your identity and see what's left. And you realize, I'm whole. I'm complete. That's a message I got from Jesus himself. You're whole. There's nothing missing at all. You are whole, and you will always be whole, right? And we're very, very, very attached to our physical body when we're here, but once we're out of it, we're really not. It's like, that old coat we can't wait to get rid of, It's like, okay, I'm done with that. I think we have affection for it because it's served us for a lifetime, but we're not attached to it at all. And I'm not saying this in a grim way. I hope it is that I don't want it to come across as like, dark, we're all going to die or anything like that. I'm just saying that underneath a lot of these fears and worries and all this stuff is this very basic human fear, animalistic fear, or not even animalistic, human fear of death. Yeah. And I think that's part of also what we're going to be learning is how to not be afraid, it's just a transition. It is not a complete demolishing of everything you are. It's quite the opposite. In here, we're limited. This is the limiting part. So it's the opposite of that. We're even more ourselves, and there's so much more to us that we're just not aware of when we're in the physical form. Yes, we do. We need our secret handshake and our secret word, our connection to each other. Exactly. Okay, so yeah, so there's something weird going on, and like I said, once again, it's going to be up to the Justice Department. It's going to be up to them. We have very little control over that stuff. We can pray, we can meditate, we can ask for the most benevolent outcome to get through this shiz as quickly as possible. But it's going to be up to them. It's going to be up to them because there's something here. There's something here. Something happened that is. It reminded me so much too of the again, not to be conspiracy because I don't want to get into that either, but it reminded me so much of the Russian elections where it's like he got 99%. It's like, really, he won every swing state? Really? Did you see his crowds? Because he couldn't even fill a room. So yeah, he might have gone overboard there. Made it a little too obvious. And I know people are like, well, the whole campaign was online. Was it? Was it? Because I saw Kamala online too. So, and I know there was misinformation and disinformation, but he couldn't draw a crowd. So don't give me that. Oh, thank you, James. Helping to connect us to our spirit side. You are more than welcome. Yeah, I think that's true too. I think that we're so much of this we're meant to observe and to gain from, to gain insight from. So yeah, absolutely. Watch what's happening. If that's good for you right now, if you need to step away for a day, a week, a month, and just sit in your garden, that's okay too. You create the world you want right now. Okay. Yeah. Frida, my husband and I live on Social Security and a small pension. How are we going to live? Reduce Social Security by 33% the first year and heavily tax it. See, and that's okay. So Frida, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Like I said, yeah, you're saying we're trying to plan. It's okay. It's okay to look at, well, we could do this or we could do that. We could move, go down to Mexico and live there pretty well. I mean, and also the people around you are going to let you sink. You have this community. We all have connections of different kinds. We're connected. I'm sure you have people that family, friends, link arms. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about linking arms. For my part, I know I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we don't let people sink. And at the very least, know that they are surrounded by people that want to help, that want to see them okay. Okay, Frida. So you're not there yet. Stay in the here and now. Okay, try not to get lost in the future because we don't even know what the hell just happened. So we need to figure all this stuff out if they're going to, and we also need to see how this plays out. What they plan to do, I don't think is going to be as easy as they think it is. So let's just wait and see a little bit. But I understand the concerns, and I understand. And like I said, put a makeshift plan in place if it makes you feel better and more, stable and that's fine. But don't move into fear. Not now, okay? Because it's not happening right now, okay? And Just Visiting says, what you help us navigate with. No, I will. I'm gonna help that. I think it's more and we'll fill it out. We'll fill it out just visiting as we go. I just know that phasing out some of this kind of looking at politics in such a regular and kind of hard weight, like not knowing even what energies I'm going to be going into that night, that kind of thing, that it may have to change. Yeah, so we'll navigate it. Like I said, I'm just chatting here and giving you my thoughts, and we'll figure it out. I don't want to add to anybody's anxiety right now, so don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. And this is why I want to hear what you have to say. Like I said, I'm not sure what it's doing. If some things are really, really helping, then we'll talk about it. But I just feel like these, like I said, this isn't really our lesson to learn anymore. This is something else. Okay. And this is okay, Pam. And this is the kind of thing I want to, to understand and maybe help you to understand, Pam, because I think this is a good, I understand this is a good opportunity to talk about this. I make it clear, and I always make it clear that you can't, as a reader, you just can't, detect every variable, and you have to follow the energy you're following and do your best. And you're right. I mean, maybe this is maybe it's telling us something. Maybe it's like, don't look at this stuff. You don't want to look at this stuff. I don't know. You know, I don't know. And like I said, I encourage you, Pam, to I mean, not my channel or whatever, but I encourage you not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I feel like this is one way that we're kind of using our abilities, is to kind of gauge politics and stuff, and we've gotten an awful lot right. And so I just want to throw that out there too, because it's not like I know these are big things, but we've gotten an awful lot right as well. And I feel like for me, a lot of times getting a prediction and having it unfold in the way that you said, it's a faith builder. It kind of makes you think, oh, this stuff is real. Oh, they really are listening. Oh, they really are talking to us. But like I said, I've had so many experiences now that if a reader is right or wrong, it doesn't faze me at all, because I know that it's being a reader. I know what it's like, and I know how it happens. So I encourage you to find something that connects you to your own guides, and strive to have those personal experiences yourself. You can only have secondhand experiences so long, and also understand things intellectually to a certain point, and then you have to experience it and you have to feel it yourself. And so I just encourage you, Pam, to stay. I assume you're on a spiritual journey because you're here. I encourage you to stay on your spiritual journey. And I encourage you also to start reading, because when you read, you understand how it works. And then you're kind of like, how are they doing this at all? What the hell? Because it's like walking and chewing gum and doing a tap dance at the same time. It's like you're doing a lot at once, and it's a lot, but that's why I say every single answer, every single message is a miracle. Every single one. That's the way I look at it. So I just encourage you not to throw, and maybe not watching psychics. Maybe that's not your thing anymore. That's okay. But going on your own spiritual journey and having those personal experiences that you can lean back on and know. It. When you have your own experience, you know. You don't have to listen to anybody else. Okay. I spent my life learning to hear and believe my intuition. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I knew she'd won. Tuesday, woke up with a very weird. Yes, that's exactly what happened to me. But add Saturday, Sunday, Monday to months. I thought for months. And couldn't shake it all day. Something happened. I'm with you. Like I said, I don't want to get into the conspiracy theories and go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, everybody wasn't wrong. I mean, that's just so dumb. There's something going on here. Yeah. So it's not like I said, I don't, at this point, I know I'm right and wrong sometimes. So it's the message at 4:15 in the morning and just this feeling of like dread that day that I couldn't shake and couldn't explain. Yes, this can be a space where we choose love and joy. Exactly. And like I said, and cutting him out of your life, he doesn't have to be part of your life. So what if he's president? There have been plenty of presidents that I didn't think about or see or anything, until he is part of your life, he's not. Cut him out, until you have to deal with him, then you can deal with him, but you don't have to until then. Cut him off. Cut him off and cut his awful energy out too. I can't stand it. I can't. I mean, that's when I get overwhelmed. I think I can't listen. There's no way I can listen to him for 4 years. No way. No way. No. And as Stroud, angels don't mislead you. That's not the way to look at this. When you read, you're following a probability is what you're doing. You're following an energetic probability. And when you get on that train, it's like all of your predictions, like boom, boom, you'll keep getting your predictions right and right and right. And that's how we know, like, we're on the right, like, not timeline, that's not quite right, but like an energy probability strand. And you're like, okay, I'm on the right probability. And for the longest time, I think I mentioned to you guys, I'm getting everything is like unfolding within the next day. So I felt like this is good. We're on the right energy. We're on the right strand, basically. And so it's not a matter of misleading. It's what I was picking up. It's what I was following, right? And that was the most probable until maybe it was the day before. That day, things fell into place for whoever did what they did, and it wasn't the most probable anymore. So it's the wrong way to look at that. So, and you can, like I said, you can see things however you want to see, but to me, it's not really they're misleading you or they're lying to you. We're the limited ones. I can't say that enough. We're the ones that are limited. We're in a physical body, bound by 5 senses. And when you read, what that means is, or when you work on your abilities, you're working to build or grow yourself outside of the 5 senses. So you're working on sensitivity to energy. You're working on opening your third eye. You're working on noticing messages, noticing things. Even the thing I put on the community page, I was thinking, in context again, and you don't have any context as a reader too. Usually you kind of don't have it until you have it. And then you're like, oh, that's what it was. But when I posted that picture of him with the Empire State Building, I thought, well, but he's like clinging to it and smiling. So I'm like, maybe that was the message. And you just you have to work with what you get. Like I said, we're the ones that are limited. It's not our angels and guides. They're trying every minute of every day. I promise you, to get us what we need or to help us in the ways they can. It's us. So we're the limited ones. We're the ones that are limited. Oh gosh. Jatar lifestyles. Okay. Um, you're a disabled single mom living on SS with an autistic daughter. Okay. What I want to tell you, Jatar lifestyles, I wish I had your real names. I have to call you your screen name, is to try really hard not to, once again, bounce yourself into a future that's not written yet. Okay. Stay here and now. Hug your daughter. Make your favorite food. Put on something funny. And remind yourself often that, and the more hard your physical life is, the harder it is to remember and believe this, but you are an eternal being. You are an eternal being. You're in a life circumstance right now. So also just know that in the back of your mind, I'm an eternal being. This is just a life circumstance. It's just an experience and one that I agreed to as a selfless spirit, because it sounds like you're taking care of your daughter, and it sounds like she is also your teacher, right? So this is a selfless bond the two of you made. And as spirits, we are selfless. We are always doing for each other and wanting for each other, like helping each other to grow. That's why we come here so often. Sometimes we don't have anything to do here. We're just here because we wanted to come with our spirit family and make sure we were there for them. That's how we are. And it sounds like you're you are a selfless spirit, as we all are, but you also clearly came here for a very specific experience and reason. But don't go in fear. Try not to, and try not to jump into a future that is not here yet. It is not here, and you don't have to worry about it right now, right? They're not even in yet. So give yourself this time to just have peace. Just have peace. Turn off the news, hug your daughter, watch a movie, eat nice food, don't put yourself there yet. You don't need to do that, okay? I will follow my heart. I will follow my heart. And like I said, I'm not going to project myself into the future. I don't know yet either. This may just look a little bit different. It may just be a little bit less kind of more intensely looking at every little political thing and more of a worldview or something like that. It might just be different. But I love the connections we have, and I love to talk about stuff with you guys and get your perspective. It really is not, this community is not about me particularly anymore. It's about us. It's about what we've built. And I love that you guys are here and supporting each other. Hey, Marcy. Yes. Okay, good. A safe space to go and tap into and grow spiritual connection. So we do have the Intuit Club if you want to get into that stuff right away. If you're not a member, I can't say if you were, but I have a feeling it will look more like that. Probably not with the mini readings, but it will be just a more spiritually based channel with, it'll have, I'm sure I'll do my predictions like I always do, and we'll have stuff like that, but just probably not as often and as regularly and as like specific, like looking at one thing with one person. It's hard to go in and out of those energies. And I don't know if that's great for me. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that serves my own spiritual growth to do that, oh gosh, I know. Yeah. Dixie, people are going to suffer. Love and light isn't going to cut it here. Yeah. Save your money, keep to yourself. Yeah. And I totally get it. I totally get it. We know that hundreds of thousands of people didn't make it out of his first term, right? We're not blind to this, right? We know. like I said, I don't think this is our lesson to learn. I think we learned the lesson pretty damn well, and tried and tried and tried to steer the car in another direction, right? I think in this case there were a lot of unseen forces at work, and I think maybe part of the my guys may be telling me this right now, that part of his job was to just keep us very, very distracted day in and day out, right? Looking at what other stupid thing he said or did. You know, he's shameless, so he'll do and say whatever he needs to. He needs to blow a microphone, he'll do that, or whatever he does, if he needs to, so that may have just been a message for my guides as to what his role was in this. But I think we may have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker, as people, but don't. Yeah. But I hear you. I hear you. I know, Frida. I know it's a, yeah. And it's not so much doesn't exist, because I think we know he exists, but I think he doesn't have to be intruding in your world where he's not. He hasn't done anything yet, right? He's not in there yet. We can guess, we can surmise, but he's not there yet, right? So what I'm talking about is now, right now. Cultivate and make the healthiest and most secure space you can for yourself right now, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And we will, as things unfold, as things happen, we'll tackle them one at a time, right? We'll tackle them one at a time. But it's not like sticking your head in the sand. I think that's what you're talking about. And I'm not talking about doing that, because I think it is, you have to be part of the world. You're part of the world. But I think being very deliberate about knowing what you can affect and what you can do and what you can't. And I think, once you get to those things you can't do anything about, that's when you start to worry and stew, and it hurts you. It brings in negativity where you don't need to have it. And so that's what I'm talking about, is kind of where he doesn't need to be. Don't let him be there. He doesn't have to be there. He doesn't need to be in your thoughts when you're going to sleep at night. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to be in your living room during the day with his stupid speeches. He doesn't have to be there. So take him out, remove him from where he doesn't need to be. Because you're right. We'll be hearing about him here and there, and we need to stay on top of things to know what's going on. But that's it. He doesn't have to invade our space, in every space, all day long, every day, day in and day out. Yeah, and we'll find out. We'll find out, Cindy, and that's. And like I said, I'm a reader, so I know that it's not any surprise to me that people can be right and wrong. It's just that I don't think every reader was wrong. I think we were right till we weren't. I think something happened, and I think we're gonna. If we don't know every single thing about it, I mean, here we did, the Mueller thing, right? We all felt and knew that Russia was involved then. That this is what, he's a traitor. This is what happened. And we're screaming it from the rooftops. They finally figure it out. They finally arrest people. It's all in the Mueller report. And guess what? Nobody cared. Nobody cared. You can't make people, if they're not, and they never got rid of him. They just clung to his coat. And so what can you do with people like that? They're going to have to learn the hard way. And like I said, unfortunately, we'll be along for the ride if that happens, because we're all connected. We're all so closely connected, especially in the same country, right? But that's what I'm talking about knowing kind of what you can control and knowing what you can't, and letting that go, because it'll just drive you nuts. It'll just drive you nuts. And that's why I brought up that question about death, because I think that underlies a lot of things. And I think that if you can come to some peace and also lock in to having your own experiences, you guys, because once you've had an out-of-body experience, once you've had spirits talk to you, once you've had a message and it opens your husband's phone, or you have your dad walk into your room in spirit, or what, once you have these experiences, you cannot unsee them. And you know something you didn't know before. So really try to have these experiences. That's why I'm talking about really holding on to and moving further into your own spiritual growth and spirituality, because that stuff is really, really helpful. And I think it's the one reason why I've had the reaction I had, which is completely different than 2016, is because I've grown spiritually. Like I said, it takes the edges off everything. And so I firmly believe and can absolutely recommend working on connecting with your own guides, connecting with your own team, getting to know them, getting to know what they feel like. And those are the things we can all work on together, because that's what matters. And that's why we're even doing this. It's not for, we're not, like I said, this is a temporary experience that we're having just to grow spiritually. That's what really matters. Either you believe that or you don't. If you're like, it doesn't work for me, that's fine. That's fine. That's where I'm at. So. So, all right, you guys. Well, I really do thank you for popping on here. Oh, thank you, Laurel. Oops. Now, this isn't a pride thing or anything like that. It really is not. I've been thinking about making this change for a long time. I just thought this might be a good time, because I think we're going to need some higher order understanding, some bigger world stuff understanding, what's going on here. I think we're going to need that stuff. And people will be there to do political, tons of people do that stuff. So you definitely, and if there's really something, we're dying to know, I'm sure it will come up. My guys aren't going to leave us in the dark. I honor whatever you need to do for your heart and soul. Thank you for being such it is truly my pleasure. You see, that's where I'm at too, Susie. It's like, and what did it get us to worry and day in and day out about that guy? I didn't know what I could say on YouTube. That guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. And like I said, I think they have a feeling this is going to be a lot easier than it is. I know the tenaciousness of, I've watched 90 Day Fiance, and I know that every American woman thinks they can walk into a Muslim country and change it because they're not doing this and they're not doing that. So I think that they may not quite, even though they're from here, they may not quite understand the tenacity of American people. I think they've pegged that wrong. I think they think that kindness and compassion is weakness. And I think they're wrong. I think they're may F around and find out about some of that, because I think that we're a very tenacious and very a pretty strong group. And I think that we also, when we do care about each other, it's very strong. We've weathered a lot as a country, and we've helped each other through it, whether it's natural disasters or COVID. I mean, when we come together and work together, We really are unstoppable. We really, really are. And so when the rubber hits the road, and I think they think all this stuff is going to be so easy to do because they've got the military and this and that, I don't think they get it. I really don't. It's not like they've done this all over the world and this is the 10th time they're taking over a country. They're playing this by ear and they're figuring it out. And I think they have completely misunderstood the American people, the other half of the country that's not down for any of this stuff. So, and I think it's more than half the country, quite frankly. I think it's closer to 70% or something like that. But, people don't vote and whatever. They have their reasons, but yeah. So, okay, guys. And I think if anything, let's take from this the fact that joy energy is there. We got to reach out and grab it. It is there. And we felt it. And we felt it with hundreds of thousands of people that want the same thing. So it's there and people want it. And I think that, we do create our reality. We really, really do. And we've talked about how these darker forces and darker ideas and stuff, they can have some reach and they can do some things, but it's not the same. It's not the same kind of energy. It usually lands with a thud, and it's not pretty. It kind of lands the way that his first term did. It's kind of that. These heavier, darker energies just don't have the same kind of reach. They can have an impact, and they can do damage. They can definitely cause chaos and do damage, but they don't have the reach and we saw it. We saw it in that campaign, right? We saw it. We saw it with our own eyes, and people loved it. And so that is there. It's still there. That is still there. It's gotta be. We can't let go of it, right? We can't go back into these icky yucko energies, right? Oh, Janet, welcome. I'm good for you. Yeah, we have fun in our group. We're doing a mini readings today. We're doing A through D today. But you can definitely sit in and hang out with us. So yours will be next time. Next time is E through L. So I think you'll be next time. But yeah. Welcome here. We have a movie club. We're going to watch a movie. We get lots of spirit messages, and yeah, we have a good old time. So good for you. Okay, you're welcome, Arlene, and welcome. Yeah, check in more often. Yeah, we are. So half of us are very slow learners. This is true. You talk about Bob Woodward's first book. It's like, yeah. Oh, E through L is Friday. Thank you, Gina. The other change that I think I'm going to make too is doing my orb, which might be nice for you guys to know, is I'm doing my orb mediumship readings for free for people, and maybe making them shorter, but doing them for free. Because like I said, I think this is important for us to know right now and to get through our head that this is temporary. Really everybody we have known and loved that has passed is here at a different frequency. And so I haven't put how I'm going to do it yet together, but it might just be this long list that I just work through the year or whatever, and just do them here and there where I can. But I'd really like to make that a free service, because I feel like that is, it's what I'd like it to be. It won't be as long, because the other ones are quite long, and so, but they'll probably be shorter. But I want to give people that experience, because like I said, your own personal experiences, that's everything. That is what sustains you in times like this. Not my experience being relayed to you. You can work on that you can exist on that for a while, but not, but your own experiences are diamonds. They really, really are. And they get you through these times. And Yeah. And that's the thing, Delphi, is that you don't have to. If you don't want to, you do not have to. You can just, you know, don't listen to him. Who cares what he has to say, by the way? It's all a bunch of lies anyway. He's just lying anyway. I don't want to hear him. Really? Or mediumship? Yay. So kind of judge me. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they're probably, they won't be as long as like the ones that I've been doing, because those are like half an hour, 45 minutes long. I won't be doing that, but it will just be a glimpse, just a piece. And then you can watch it over and over and over again when you have these moments where you're like, are we even, what is going on? You'll know I'm an eternal being having an experience. And although this is intense and it gets crazy and it gets weird, I have done this before. And I'll be going home after this. We'll all be going home, and we'll all be going, oh my God, you remember that jerk Trump that we had to live for? I'm sure he's very unpopular on the other side. And welcome. Oh, good. We got a new member. Okay. A Caduist. A Caduist. 209. Welcome. And your night is tonight, so you'll get to ask a question. If you can't make it, send it to me in an email and I'll answer them. I'll go through them real quick first. And but otherwise just show up live and we'll do it then. I'll do it on the channel. I'll do it on the channel. So Ellen, don't worry. I mean, you won't miss anything. I'll make sure everybody knows and stuff, and I'll try to, you know, just keep throwing them out. So you'll hear about it. You don't worry about it. You'll hear about it. And you can check my website. You can always check my website for different things. But and I'll make sure that you're linked up. Make sure that you have rung the bell so that you get community page. So, because sometimes I put stuff on the community page. Yes, exactly. All right, guys. We're all here for each other. Just reminding you of that. Take it easy. And yeah, keep putting one foot in front of the other. We'll get through this. Okay. We'll go. We're just going one step at a time though. Just today, just worry about today. Okay. Everyone take care. Thanks for showing up, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.